Okay, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get into this, and we're going to start pulling this apart into its pieces. So for this lesson is we're talking about how to own the failure, how to own the failure, how to own the setback, how to own the challenge. The first thing you got to do is just admit what happened. You've got to admit what happened. You cannot pretend that it didn't happen. You have to say what happened. Whether it's I got a bad grade, I missed a deadline, I burnt my dinner, I didn't get around to cooking my dinner, I ate too much fast food last week, I didn't get enough sleep last week, I forgot to call that person. You've got to just admit what happened. If you can't look at it objectively and say what happened, then we're not going to be able to make any progress here. And I want you to make progress. I really want you to make progress. If you're watching these videos, I might not know who you are, but if you're watching these videos, I hope these are benefiting you. So, in the name of that, you have to see what happened, whatever the situation is. It doesn't have to be the Titanic sinking, it doesn't have to be that huge. It could just be a matter of, you know what, you know, um, I didn't brush my teeth enough and now I got a cavity, right? So, what happened? You have to look at it objectively and just say, what happened? We're not casting ownership or doubt or blame on anyone or anything just yet. We're just saying what happened. Because if you can't, it's you've got to see there's a problem before it can get better, right? So if it's as simple as something as simple as, you know what, I spaced on all my bills this month and now I've got $50 in late fees, right? So whatever just happened, you've got to find what happened and you've got to just objectively look at it. Just objectively look at it. Because if you don't see it, if you don't see the problem or you don't see it as a problem, then it's never going to get better. I'm just telling you right now, it's not going to. I used to do that a lot in a way. I used to kind of pretend it wasn't happening, or I would kind of like veer off and say, nope, I can't see that. So don't do that. Sometimes you do got to put on the blinders, but sometimes you got to take them off. Knowing when to put the blinders on and off is knowing when to put the blinders on and knowing when to take the blinders off. If you can get to that point, I promise your life is absolutely heading in the right direction. But for the sake of this conversation, you're taking the blinders off. You are looking at exactly what is happening. And if you got to be able to see it, you've got to be able to see what's happening. If you can't see what's happening, how's this going to get any better? And I'm just talking just from a purely logical perspective here. I'm not talking about from a self-improvement perspective or a psychological perspective or a philosophical perspective. I'm just saying if the problem is that I'm not taking out I've got bugs in my kitchen. If you can't see those bugs or you don't see those bugs as a problem, then we're not going to be able to make any headway here. And there was times where maybe I wouldn't have seen that as a problem, or maybe I would have felt helpless to do anything about it, which is that's a conversation. That's a whole separate conversation, feeling powerless. But like I said, we're talking about how to own the victory, and step one is just objectively seeing what is going on. Whether it's you're not cleaning up enough, you're not taking enough showers, you're not saving enough money, you're not calling people you care about, you're not getting enough fresh air, you're spending too much money, you're not paying your bills, you're not doing your laundry, whatever the problem is, you're listening to way too much toxic music, you're eating McDonald's 5 days a week, whatever the problem is, you've got to look at that objectively and just say, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. If you can't see what's going on, it's never going to get better. So just to keep all that in mind. So that's step one out of the 4-step process is what is going on. Step one to owning the failure is just objectively seeing what's going on. Alrighty, I will see you guys for the next lesson.